Welcome, wrestling fans. You got the show. Bill Schuyler here, correspondent for One Wrestling and the Big Slam Nation. Correspondent handling NXT, Ring of Honor, the Independents, New Japan, AAA, CMLL, you name it. If it comes across the board, the show's reporting it. And tonight is my inaugural awards show for the year. That's right, 2015. I have a list. That's right. A lot of people say, I'm going to put that on my list. I'm going to put you on my list. I actually have that list. And many have made my list for 2015. And we're going to get right into it. The best champion of any and all promotions in 2015, my pick would be the one and the only Ethan Carter III, EC3, Impact Wrestling. That's right, my pick for the best champion in the business. Does that mean he's the greatest wrestler in the business? Not necessarily. Does it mean he's the most technical, the greatest brawler, the best talker? No, what it means is he is booked as and is able to carry himself as one of the greatest champions in recent memory in professional wrestling. He is very much a old school style wrestler. He's just got that look, he's got the attitude, he's got the demeanor, and he is, in my opinion, what a professional wrestling world heavyweight champion should strive to be like and to appear. And a close runner-up was the architect himself. That's right, Seth Rollins, World Wrestling Entertainment's world champion, not defeated for that title, but no longer the champion. Actually, of course, both of these gentlemen no longer the champions of their respective companies. Now we're going to get to what I have as the best DVD Blu-ray release 2015. That would be the WWE's Sting Into the Light. If you have not had an opportunity to see this DVD, I urge you, if you are a Sting fan, this is the DVD to get. There was a previous DVD released by the WWE last year, and it did not have the great background, the interviews, the back and forth between Sting and hearing from everybody else. This is the whole package. It is a fantastic DVD and a great one to add to the collection. And of course, the show's got it in his rather large pro wrestling library, because you gotta have this, you gotta have stuff to put in to it. And I got it, but that's beside the point. So yes, Sting Into the Light, great DVD. The Blu-ray has extras that the DVD does not. Up to you what you want to do. Now, my pick for the most over gimmick in professional wrestling. That gimmick covers it all, from soup to nuts. These gentlemen are it. They are the best thing going in the game today. Who would that be? That, my friends, would be, I'm looking out to make sure I'm not getting hit by a flying trombone. I'm talking about the New Day. That's right, Big E, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. New Day rocks. Yes, some of you may say New Day sucks. You don't like them? Well, I'm here to tell you that the New Day, you may consider them heels. Well, you know what? a lot of folks consider the show a heel. So if you want to go kayfabe and be into it, my friends, you'll always notice that I'm the guy that's always rooting for the bad guys in the ring. Say hello to the bad guy. So yes, most over gimmick in the business for 2015, the New Day. And what even put them over even more is that they brought forth and brought back the old Freebird rule, and that just makes them all the better. And now, we're going to go into what is the worst feud of 2015, and without a doubt, no runners-up involved. My opinion, the worst feud in professional wrestling 2015 would be Dolph Ziggler, Lana, and Rusev. Yes, this started out possibly being something, and it turned into just the worst. Nothing more to say about it. Worst feud 2015. This triangle, I'm just fed up with it. Been fed up with it for a long time. Don't want to see these guys go at it anymore. Now, sticking with the worst in the business, the worst promotion 2015 would be Impact Wrestling. Saddens me to say that TNA fell so far to where they would be on my list as the worst promotion. And the thing is, in the beginning of 2015, they really were starting out strong. They had that great run in New York City. MVP came in, the Wolves, so much going on. The Beatdown Clan had occurred. You had Bobby Lashley, Samoa Joe, Kenny King. Just tremendous possibilities were there. So much talent came in that was there with the roster, and then things just started to go downhill. Spike TV was gone. They were the Destination America. That did not pan out at all, and the network really left TNA high and dry, and the roster began to thin out, and they kept leaving, and things just continued to get worse and worse. And then Destination America contractually split with TNA, and now, starting next week into the new year, Pop TV. Pop TV looking like this could bring them way, way, way far from being the worst promotion by this time next year, and I can only hope that's the case. I will say that I will be there live, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, during one of the TV tapings. That is going to be a pay-per-view, a one-night stand. The show will be there, and we'll talk all about that down the road. But again, as it stands right now, 2015, absolute worst promotion in the business, Impact Wrestling. Worst pay-per-view or wrestling event in 2015, hands down, was the greatly disappointing, horrendously just a hot mess AAA Triple Mania. Things went wrong from the gate, technical issues to the fact that almost everyone who paid for this pay-per-view were not able to see the event, or it kept fading in and out, so much so that you couldn't watch it. You lost audio, you lost visual, complete, utter mess. Something that very well could have really destroyed this promotion, and it definitely here in North America, I believe, really had people hesitating about ever getting a AAA pay-per-view again. Now, from the worst to the best, just to give a little sunshine here, the best wrestling pay-per-view event of the year has to be, as a wrestling purist, you had to go with New Japan Pro Wrestling, January 4th, as it is every single year, Wrestle Kingdom. That's right, Wrestle Kingdom 9. Just unbelievable presentation from beginning to end. Couldn't be topped by anybody else in the business. The runner-up to that would be Pro Wrestling Guerrillas Battle of Los Angeles 2015, a 3-night extravaganza. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla never fails, and it's the kind of thing that you cannot get other than either pirated or being there live in Reseda, California, or you got to wait to get a hold of the DVDs. And I'm telling you, if you have not seen this event, feel free to go back and check it out, because the show gave you the complete recap of this out of this world wrestling event with just mind-blowing action from top to bottom by the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla roster for that triple threat, that 3-night extravaganza. Do not miss Pro Wrestling Guerrillas Battle of Los Angeles 2015. Get it, pick it up, be there. Now, I'm going to say here, the best commentary in the business, whether it's pay-per-view or television, doesn't matter. Pro wrestling today, the best commentary team going out there stands at Ring of Honor with Kevin Kelly and Steve Corino. That's right, King Corino. Just, these guys knock it out of the park every single time. They are really a throwback to the old days with Jesse Ventura and Jim Ross. All those days, just, you need to have commentary like that where you just have that connection and it's there, and they're not forcing it. They're not trying to be something that they're not. And, these guys really are just the best right now. And then going from the best to the worst. And once again, it's Impact Wrestling. Josh Matthews, a young guy, a guy who I like. I like him with his commentary. I was a fan of the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, as a wrestler. Him on the microphone as a wrestler, fantastic. But calling it every week, in out, these two guys just don't gel right. Something's wrong. The Pope is too much trying to be Dusty Rhodes on the microphone. I can't take it. Josh Matthews, like I said, these guys just aren't going right. I don't like the whole setup that TNA did with these guys not actually being at ringside, back in some office or, closet in a different room, and they were moving them around, and they're, basically they're just watching it on film and calling it. I absolutely hate that. I want to see them at ringside. I want them there live for the event. And they're not giving it to me, and that gives me the opportunity to give them the award for the worst commentary in the business. Now, your lookout stars for 2016, male wrestler, my opinion without a doubt, if booked properly, and that means you got to break the team up immediately. Lucha Dragons, you got to split them up. You got to drop Sin Cara, get him out of there. Kalisto, 2016, they want their Latino demographics to rise up. They've been looking for a Rey Mysterio replacement for years. Well, the former Samurai del Sol, Kalisto, you've seen him. He blew your mind recently in that ladder match at TLC. He is one of the greatest high flyers in the business. What he does in the ring is pure gold. It's magic. And on top of that, guess what, fellas? He can work the mic. Get him out there. Give him the chance. He'll be that superstar that you're looking for, Vince. Triple H, Stephanie, whoever's running the show up on the main roster, you got him there now. It's time to make him into a superstar. And the female to look out for in 2016, WWE yet again. In the NXT division, Asuka. Asuka is not only one of the greatest female wrestlers in the business today, she is one of the greatest wrestlers, period. She is unreal in the ring. Has to be seen to be believed. And she is going to be a breakout megastar for the female women's divas division, whatever they're going to call it. She's going to rule the roost. Take that to the bank. Best manager. And yeah, I'm calling them managers. Best manager in the business. House of Truth, Ring of Honor. That's right, Truth Martini. Why? Because he's the manager of one Jay Lethal, former television champion and world heavyweight champion at the same time. The House of Truth has never been stronger than it is right now with Jay Lethal under the tutelage of Mr. Martini. And the runner-up, and of course, very, very close. And the only reason that he didn't get to be number one is because he's not there all the time, and his client is not there all the time. Who am I speaking of course? None other than the one, the only, Paul Heyman. Yes, is Paul Heyman the greatest manager to ever work a microphone? Without a doubt. Is he one of the greatest managers of all time? Without a doubt. From his days in the AWA, in ECW, of course, in WCW, and in the WWF, and the WWE, Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerously, one of the greatest of all time. But in 2015, it went to the House of Truth, Truth Martini. Now, the best wrestling television show. That's right. You turn on your TV, you're watching wrestling, the best out there, hands down. NXT. Nothing on television surpasses NXT. In 2015, they came out of nowhere and they took control, and they're blowing away Raw, they're blowing away SmackDown, they're blowing away TNA, and they're blowing away Ring of Honor. There's just nobody that can compete with this 1 hour program on the WWE network. NXT hitting it on all cylinders. They got one of the greatest rosters in the business. They're being booked the right way. Their men, their women, their tag teams, the best in the business. Bar none. Bar none. But they are under that umbrella of the WWE, and that'll come into play later on in this award show. So yes, NXT, and of course the worst television product again falls to Impact Wrestling. their television product in the latter half 2015 until now, just virtually unwatchable in my opinion. Now, as I said, it would be best promotion is next. Best wrestling program, NXT. But the best wrestling promotion, there's no argument to be made. New Japan Pro Wrestling is the greatest promotion on the planet when it comes to in-ring action. And other than in-ring action that you get on their multitudes of pay-per-views that you have the opportunity to get on their version of the WWE network, from, every month. You might have more than one. You may have a couple. You have tournaments to go on. The climax. Just New Japan, just their roster is unbelievable. They have their own storylines. They're damn near perfect, friends. And they got great Western stars that are in there to help bring in our demographic here from North America. Guys like the Bullet Club, guys like Roppongi Vice. It just goes on, and they're working hand in hand this year with Ring of Honor. And that, my friends, has been greatness. And as a matter of fact, Wrestle Kingdom this year is going to be a mix with Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Kind of like back in the day when WCW would team up and do their pay-per-views together and work things out and have interpromotional wrestling events. Now that's locked in with Ring of Honor. Great things going. So yes, without a doubt, New Japan Pro Wrestling, best promotion in the business, and the runner-up, even though they're under the WWE umbrella, I gotta give it to NXT, because Raw and SmackDown, not doing it. WWE pay-per-views, not doing it. NXT and NXT TakeOver events, the only guys that are beating them out, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, the most overrated wrestler in the business in 2015, no, friends, it's not John Cena. It's an individual by the name of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been pushed and pushed to be that mega superstar. He now finally has the strap around his waist. Has he improved a lot? Yes, he has. Does he have the potential to be a classic, a great superstar as time goes on? I believe he does. I just think they pushed him too early. It's not time yet, and they're making him be something that he's not ready to be yet. So, for 2015, he was without a doubt the most overrated, pushed, booked wrestler in the business. Now, who's the most underrated? WWE strikes again, and that would be Cesaro, formerly Claudio Castagnoli from Ring of Honor in the Independents. Cesaro, one of the most unbelievable specimens in the business. This guy can wrestle technical. He can brawl. He is, without a doubt, no questions by the guys and gals in the locker rooms across the world, one of the strongest men in the business. For whatever reason, and that comes from the top, Vince has a problem with his being Swiss. You know what? Don't book him as being Swiss then. Have him change, lose the accent. Actors do it all the time. He is a major superstar waiting for his chance to be at the top of the WWE. And you're squandering him, Vince. You're wasting his time. Push Cesaro 2016, my friend. Let him be one of the best in the business like he deserves to be. Now we're going to go to High Flyer of 2015, NXT's Adrian Neville, the man that gravity forgot. Pac, from the Indies before through NXT, former NXT champion, former Intercontinental champion. Neville, again, is a guy who's not getting the proper push he deserves on the main roster, but that doesn't stop him from being, in my opinion, the greatest high flyer in the business today. And the runner-up, and this is very, very close, and I think he'll surpass him this year, that would be Ricochet, a.k.a. Prince Puma from Lucha Underground. Ricochet, if you've had the opportunity to see him either in Lucha Underground, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, in Dragon Gate, or any of the indies where you would have saw him, he was part of the Inner City Machine Guns with Gotta Get Swan, Rich Swan, and other great high flyer mover in the ring who has been signed by NXT and will be debuting soon. A guy to look out for. It's not on my list to say it, but I'm going to tell you, Rich Swan, Biff Busick, John Schuyler, all these guys are waiting in the wings in NXT to come up next to break ground, if you will. And speaking of breaking ground, best reality show in pro wrestling, WWE Network's own Breaking Ground. And that would be followed by Total Divas. You can't argue with it. The ratings are there. It's enjoyable. Secret pleasure, whatever you want to call it. Nice to see things behind the scenes, but Breaking Ground, NXT, that's the show to watch, my friends. Now let's get back into wrestling. And we're going to go for the best brawler in the business today. The Stan Hansen Bruiser Brody Memorial Award, if you will, goes to the former member of Ascension when he was in NXT. He left that company and came into Impact Wrestling, part of that era where things were going so well. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Bram. That's right, Bram is without a doubt the best, the greatest, the most ruthless brawler in the business, in any promotion, in ages. He is without a doubt a guy that should have been in the business 15 years ago, 20 years ago. He would have fit in. He's fitting in now, and he's tearing it up, and he's one of the best things in Impact Wrestling, and they know it. They know it dearly because they're not letting him go. And the runner-up is a guy that's been held back and squandered, but as it comes to brawling, he still holds it how he did when he was in the Indies. I'm talking about none other than Luke Harper from the WWE and the Wyatt family, the runner-up for Best Brawler. Now, Best Cruiserweight in the business, New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Bullet Club's IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion of the World, the Cleaner, Kenny Omega. That's right, the best cruiserweight going. And the runner-up would be the NWA's Junior Heavyweight Champion 01, Takua Sugawara. I'm sure I didn't quite say that right, but this guy has held that title forever. Nobody's coming close to taking it from him. If you haven't had the opportunity to see this NWA champion, check him out on YouTube. You get a chance to see the NWA live in your area, and he's there. Get on it. See one of the best in the business. Now, going from cruisers to technical. That's right. We're taking it right down to the limit. Best technical wrestler in the business in 2015. None other than Zack Saber Jr. And the runner-up, guy that's been partnered up, worked with, worked against the villain himself, Marty Scurll. Two individuals that, if you get to see Battle of Los Angeles, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla 2015, runner-up for that best wrestling event of 2015, you'll get to see these two guys doing absolute magic in the ring. Check out these guys, Marty Scurll and the best technical wrestler, in my opinion, Zack Saber Jr. Now, the most improved wrestler in the business in 2015, formerly the Chosen One in the WWE, the former Drew McIntyre, who was relegated down to the three-man band and just completely destroyed something that would have, in most guys, their career would be ruined. But no, Drew dusted himself off when he had the opportunity to leave the WWE and that guaranteed paycheck, hit the Indies, went back home to Scotland, tore it up all over Europe, through England, the UK, Ireland, everywhere he went. And then they even had him, he won the Dragon Gate world title. Not the typical Dragon Gate wrestler, but Gabe Sapolsky booked him, and by booking him, brought him to the attention of Impact Wrestling. And one of the best things they did, once again, in that early part of the year when they were just rebuilding and looking like they were going to actually jump ahead again and get back to where they belonged, Impact Wrestling signed Drew Galloway. And this was all part of the war that was going on with MVP's faction, the Beatdown Clan. Stand up, be counted, all that great booking that was going on. That was Drew Galloway, most improved wrestler without a doubt. And you have the most improved, and this is a guy now who I'm going to throw that's not doing anything wrong on his end. Matter of fact, he's over huge in the business despite being booked so wrong, totally being misused by the WWE creative. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt should be either the biggest, baddest villain on the WWE roster, hands down, destroying people, never losing a match unless he lost it himself by going out of control and being disqualified. No, what they've done is use one of the greatest talkers in the business, one of the greatest guys who was able to create his own gimmick, come up with his own dialogue, and his moveset for a big man. He's one of the best ever. It's in the genes, my friend. He's a Rotunda. He is a Wyndham. He's got that whole bloodline of the Rhodes, the Mulligans. It's all in there. And he's living proof of what happens with a second and third generation wrestler. yet they have him lose constantly. Totally booked wrong. Yet, I guess they don't care because his merchandise is through the roof. The fans love him. His ratings are always high. So if you don't want him to be that villain and he's so over, then make him a face. Have him be, he is your new Undertaker and you're ruining him. But I digress. Yes, most misused wrestler in the business, Bray Wyatt. Now, comeback of the year. Comeback of the year. This man left an organization that he had been with for many, many years. Talking Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe came in to TNA, Total Nonstop Action, back in the early 2000s from Ring of Honor and the Independents. One of the biggest, hottest guys in the business. One of the most feared men in the ring. He came into TNA and went right after Kurt Angle. Actually, I'm sorry. When Kurt Angle came in, he went right after Kurt Angle. He was undefeated. For what? A year? Nobody could touch Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe holding all the gold. Everything and anything. And of course, they screwed it up and had him lose to Kurt Angle in the beginning. They had a great feud nonetheless. And that's something I won't even go into. That's so far back. But from that point on, Joe was one of the greatest misused talents in the business year in and year out. Joe finally decided to walk away from TNA. And when he did, dusted himself off, went into Ring of Honor for a cup of coffee, if you will, took a lot of heads, kicked a lot of tail, and then the call came. Triple H, a man who had wanted to sign Samoa Joe for years to the WWE and could not get it done because Vince didn't see it in him for his Raw and SmackDown world. But Triple H never forgot. And once Triple H had the reins to NXT and that division being locked into being his baby, signed Samoa Joe. And Joe has come forward and he is the Joe of old. You can see the fire in his eyes. He got in tremendous shape. He got back that hunger, that fire, and he is helping to groom that next generation of stars. Where they're going with Joe, I don't know. But he is definitely the comeback of the year. A guy who, for all intents and purposes, had been written off by the internet wrestling community and the guys who were up only watching WWE and other purists, non-WWE fans, just figured Joe was lost to TNA and was going to continue to be misused and just was there to collect a paycheck. Not anymore. Things are really looking up for Joe, and I'm expecting even bigger things in 2016. And my opinion, the comeback of the year, the guy that was right there, who in a short order of time was one of the biggest stars in the WWE, wound up getting fired from the WWE for something that he should not have been fired for, went down to Mexico, hit Ring of Honor, hit the Indies, went to Lucha Underground. That's right, Lucha Underground. And you know what? Shoot off there. I did not put Lucha Underground as part of being the best wrestling product on television. I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, and I know it. But I just wasn't quite into Lucha Underground enough at the time for the year of 2015, and I've since been growing and rewatching it and really getting into it, but it wasn't going to affect what I felt for 2015, and I stick with who I picked for the best television product in 2015. Now, back to Alberto Del Rio. ADR became El Patron in Lucha Underground and got so hot and got so much just fan support worldwide that the WWE brought him back, and brought him back in a big way. How? He came right back unannounced, pay-per-view, U.S. Open Challenge. John Cena beat John Cena like a dog, took the U.S. title, and John Cena went away, and Alberto Del Rio was back holding the gold, then becomes part of this huge faction, and he is just one of the greatest wrestlers on the roster in the WWE right now. So, I mean, he was at the top, boom, to the bottom, out the door, worked his way back, and in short order again, he's at the top. Definitely, ADR could be world champion anytime they want to put the belt around his waist. And my God, he is in the best shape of his career. He's hotter than ever. Alberto Del Rio, my runner-up for comeback of the year. Now, we're going to come into a dilemma. And I know I'm going to get a lot of emails. I'm going to get a lot of tweets. I'm going to get a lot of heat. And let me tell you, I'm a fan of both factions. I've seen both guys live. But I am a member of the Killer Elite Squad, New Jersey chapter. Kill 'em all. That's right. Lance Hoyt. Harry Smith, son of the British Bulldog. KES dominated in 2015. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Tag Team of the Year. That's right, my friends. The Killer Elite Squad, IWGP Tag Champions 2 times, NWA Champions 2 times this year, and current GHC Noah Champions. So they're holding multiple titles. They're holding titles at the same time, and they've had gold around their waist on these major belts for the entire year of 2015. And yes, they went to war against the Bullet Club. That's right. Not too many guys would take it to the Bullet Club there in Japan with the Machine Gun Carl Anderson and big old suntan biker man Dorian DeVille. You know him, you love him, Luke Gallows. My God, one of the best, greatest gaijins in the business, going up against one of the other greatest factions of gaijins in the business. Talking about the Killer Elite Squad. If you haven't seen them, my God, son, get there and watch them. They come into the States, they wrestle here, they wrestle around the world. Check them out. They are all that. And they get the award for greatest tag team in 2015. And they were followed up by, without a doubt, no question, absolutely one of the greatest tag teams in 2015. One of the greatest tag teams of all time. Who am I speaking about? Another member group of the Bullet Club. The Young Bucks. Nick and Matt Jackson, who I just had the golden opportunity to meet at Ring of Honor's Final Battle. These guys are just unbelievable in the ring. Greatest high flyer, spot monkeys, whatever you want to call them. Super kick party, my friends, is what it's all about when it comes down to the Jackson brothers in that ring. And they, my friends, held gold all over the place as well. You know, what can I do? It was so close in the belts, but you know what put them over is the Killer Elite Squad actually held their titles and their gold longer and further throughout the year. Yeah, did the Young Bucks actually reach out globally through Ring of Honor wrestling here in the States on more pay-per-views? You can give that to them. But KES was also involved, House of Hardcore, different other promotions, internet pay-per-views and the like. And again, just ruling the roost in Japan, not just in New Japan, but also in Noah. So yes, Lance, Harry, you get the show's 2015 award for Best Tag Team in the Business. Now, it gets tough when it gets to this spot. Now we're up at Women's Wrestler of the Year. Who could it be? There's so many women out there and so many that people are hot on right now. Your WWE purists are going to tell me that it should be Nikki Bella because she's the longest reigning WWE Women's Divas Champion of all time. That's Divas Champion, not Women's Champion. Yeah, that does, it's there. They want to go with Sasha Banks, one of the greatest female wrestlers in the business today. Bayley, the current NXT Women's Champion, one of the best in the business. Charlotte Flair, NXT Women's Champion and WWE Divas Champion. Paige, the first ever NXT and Divas Champion simultaneously. None of them. I reach out to the indies. I reach out to a girl that was in TNA for a minute and they didn't want to pay her right, and she left. Like so many others. Like Havoc. Like Alpha Female. Two of the other greatest female wrestlers in the business. But I gotta go with where I'm at. And that, my friends, is one Santana Garrett. She has held titles all year long. The list of titles is ridiculous for me to try and name all of them. Why? Because she is the current NWA Women's Champion. And with that, she is also the holder of 15 additional women's titles. I say that again. She is the current NWA Women's Champion and holds and has held an additional 15 women's titles in different federations and groups throughout the world in just 2015. Yes, she is the best female wrestler in the business today. Now, her runner-up I went with Charlotte Flair. Not because she's the daughter of Ric Flair, but because Charlotte Flair has only been wrestling for 3 years. That's right, she was the daughter of one of the greatest professional wrestlers, arguably of all time. She had a brother, older brother, that got into the wrestling business for a very short time. Her younger baby brother, Reed Flair, groomed to be that wrestling star. Wanted to be a pro wrestler his whole life. She loved Baby Reed very dearly. She was athletic, into gymnastics, sport, volleyball, you name it. Went to college for all that. And then her brother Reed passed away by an accidental overdose, just as he was getting ready to get signed to the big time. And with that, Ashley became Charlotte Flair, and decided to take up professional wrestling in honor of her brother Reed. And in that short time of 3 years, she has jumped into NXT, learned her craft at the Performance Center, and in a very, very short time, not only became the NXT Women's Champion, but then was able to take it to the main roster and become the WWE Divas Champion. She is one of the greatest women's wrestlers technically in the business. Things she does in the ring are untouchable. Nobody else is able to do at this point in time. She is that damn good. And she's got a lot of haters. She's got a lot of detractors. And they don't have anything to stand on other than the fact that she's not able to talk on the mic like her father. And I ask you, she's in the business for 3 years. She was never going to be a professional wrestler. She's never worked on promos until within the last 3 years. So you got to give her a little time to cultivate that mic work. She's got it in the ring. So maybe she needs to have a manager to help her along. Not her dad. Somebody else. Who? Not up to me. I'm just saying. A good heater for her and what she does in the ring. And maybe perhaps to make that faction. Not a Horseman faction. But Charlotte Flair. Look out, my friends. She is the future of this business. And you can argue that all you want. But I'm going to tell you that barring some type of tragic injury, 10 years from now, Charlotte Flair is still going to be at the top of this business. And she could go down as being one of the greatest women's wrestlers in the history of the WWE. Now, with that, I'm a big fan, so I took it out there a little bit. Now, you want to argue that point? Put it down below. Let me know what you think about who I picked as the best and as the runner-up, and what I had to say about both gals. Now we're going to go to Wrestler of the Year. Wrestler of the Year in 2015. My God. So many great wrestlers out there. You had EC3, who I said it was the best champion of everybody. That being, just had that it factor. Speaking of the it factor, Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, Kurt Angle, Seth Rollins, Nakamura, Tanahashi, Ibushi, Del Rio, Ambrose, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. The runner-up for Wrestler of the Year, in my opinion, for 2015 is the Bullet Club's own AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. That's right. Runner-up, AJ did it all in 2015. IWGP champion, holding gold all throughout New Japan, taking it out across the globe, wrestling for any promotion that he could get his hands on. Yeah, Carl Anderson says it all the time. AJ Styles is the greatest wrestler on God's green earth. AJ Styles is my man, my favorite in the business for many years. Again, I had the opportunity to meet AJ for the second time in my life and got to talk to him ever so briefly, but still it's cool to talk to guys that you really dig like that at Ring of Honor Final Battle. And AJ was going up against another favorite of mine, New Jersey's own, one of my brethren here in the great state of New Jersey, Jay Lethal. Two former TNA stars, two former TNA X Division champions, two former, I believe, TNA Tag Team champions. Jay didn't get the opportunity to hold that world title that AJ did in TNA. But Jay Lethal finally got it up and left TNA Wrestling. Left that great spot where he was making the money and could have stayed there and been at that level and kept there. Nope. Another guy dusted himself off, shook the dust off his shoes from TNA and walked away. And when he walked away, he went home to Ring of Honor. That's right. Ring of Honor was no strange place for Jay Lethal. And Jay Lethal has become champion in Ring of Honor and a superstar. And he is the Wrestler of the Year. Jay Lethal, who held the Television Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship at the same time for the longest of times until Roddy Strong took that TV title off of him. But he still holds the world title, the title he took off of Jay Briscoe. And Jay Lethal has been unbeatable in the ring. Jay Lethal is possibly the greatest Ring of Honor world champion in ages. I put him up there against CM Punk. I put him up there against, of course, Bryan Danielson. Well, Daniel Bryan. Jay Lethal is the man. Jay Lethal can do anything and everything. He can work that mic. He can do comedy. He can do serious. And what he always does is perform to the maximum, kicking ass, taking names, taking gold and making towns. That's right, Jay Lethal, the Wrestler of the Year for the show's inaugural award show for pro wrestling for 2015. With that, I am the show. Follow me at You Got the Show on Twitter. Follow us and join the nation at Big Slam Nation. Check us out each and every Friday night. Who is us? Us would be Big Ray at Big Ray Show, Billy Ray Valentine at Billy Ray Hustle, 8-Track Brown at Pharaoh of Fancy, the Nature Boy Fame Black at Fame Black, the Professor PW, that's right, PROFPW Hustle, Professor Quintana Q, the man, the other brainiac in the group. And you know what? We brought in an other old school aficionado, another student of the game. That's right, a trifecta, if you will, now of the Professor, the show, and OK Fabe. That's right, OK Fabe. Follow him at OKAYFABE and follow and check him out on YouTube. He is now part of the Big Slam Nation as we continue to grow, and in 2016 big things are coming. We got special guests on the horizon, and as always, we are under the tutelage and the good graces of the icon, the man, Bill Apter at Apter 1WRESTLING, 1WRESTLING.com, 1WRESTLING video on YouTube, the Apter Chat, Bill Apter, author of Is Wrestling Fixed? I don't know about you, my friends, but I didn't know it was broken. You can get it at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, anywhere that sells books. You can get a hold of this fantastic, this outstanding memoir of Bill Apter's career from the 70s up until today. And how can I tell you, don't miss the PW Hustle. That's Billy Ray, 8-Track, the Professor, Big Ray, Fame Black. Occasionally I make it onto the Hustle. I think OK Fabe there, he may make it on as well. And you know, I also do a little thing, NXT News and Reviews, every Wednesday night. Thursday it'll be up in the morning to the effect, depending on what's going on in life. But I am the NXT correspondent. I will be handling, of course, Ring of Honor pay-per-view previews and reviews. I just got to be at Final Battle in Philadelphia. You can check out that review of the show that I was at live. Oh my God, what an event. Check it out. I'm going to be live at Impact Wrestling, one night stand there in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania in January 8th, I think it is. Gonna have the review for that. May do a day in the life. Not sure. Don't know how it's going to work out, but it's going to be an outstanding show. And with that, as always, as the man says, I'll see you at the matches. But as for me, I'll see you down the road.